So what's the next player war? That's my question here, Josh. Take over. Let's have a look.
Yeah, I mean, I don't honestly know, because we're at the phase of the game where the wars stop making complete sense because it's the end of the game and people just want to have a fun war with someone because it's entertaining. So trying to predict who actually is going to go for a war next is not the easiest task in the world. I would like to see the Indian people do something.
I would love to see that as well.
They haven't really done big player wars. They've participated, so I know that Deccan was involved in the enormous war earlier on. But I would like to see them as a bloc, possibly including Georgia as well. Maybe, like, I don't know, against Russia, or I like maybe some fighting in Russia over Ming would be good. I'm not sure what will happen. I know what I'd like to happen, just as much war as possible all the time, but I'm not sure who that will be and when.
India's versus Netherlands, Russia versus anybody, Ireland versus all. I don't know, that might be a bit unfair. Ireland could stomp them too easily. What did the Netherlands take from Japan? Good question. Let's go take a look. Look at that. The north bit, they got Hokkaido and then quite a bit of the main island there. But looks like they're ready for another one. They're not going anywhere. They're just prepped for another cut in there. But we'll see.
Yeah, just a cool 130,000 troops being maintained in.
Of course, yeah, just a really easy little massive swathe of troops in Japan there. Right, so chat, I have my ideas. Who would you like us to interview? We want to speak to some people. We want to know. I mean, I want to know what this block is doing. So any representative from probably Georgia, he's the one that's allied to all of them. But maybe we could get Nepal, Japan. I kind of like to see that. But who would you like to see us get in here? And Georgia just declared war. Is that just another war against Karaman? You know how
the Georgia Karaman wars are just such a non-event nowadays. All the tension's gone.
Back in the day, this was the true pinnacle of excitement.
Yeah, back in the day, Georgia was the epicenter of the war across the entire world.
Milan, Russia, Deccan, Georgia. Oh, Netherlands Blue Frames. Okay. Forget interviews for a moment. Here it is. Look at that. What is the war? No, it's not that one. What is this war? The Swiss purge of Prussian heresy. The Swiss declared the war. And look at that. They're already getting in there. Milan did come in on the Prussian side.
And they caught Prussia napping.
Finally, let's go. Russia and Lithuania.
They've caught the Prussians napping. They haven't got their troops mobilized properly.
Oh my God.
And Russia's moving in already with taking huge attrition on their stack.
And with the papal troops up here, the Netherlands are badly outnumbered with the troops they actually have present in the region. Prussia has got a huge Russian force.
And one thing to note about the Dutch, if the Pope and the Swiss can siege down some of those really important centers of trade,
they'll start taking all the cash.
They will lose so much money.
Just sieging down a few of these on this side is going to be crazy. We reckon the Pope 80% did break their agreement to have a 1v1. Now that we have the player war kicking off, there's an obvious poll we need to
note as well. If we look at Prussia,
yeah, go ahead.
They can see some Russian troops moving in already.
Yeah.
They're moving a lot of troops west, and there's a huge Russian force moving in now.
I suspect they can crush the Swiss force before the Russians have a chance to really.
Where have I heard that before?
It's true. I didn't think of it. This fits quite nicely with the
Russians are already entering East Prussia there.
They are.
108,000 Prussian troops to hold up the 800,000 strong Russian army.
Looking at it from the Prussian perspective, they're clearly going hard against the Swiss here in eastern Switzerland. The Dutch appear to have been assigned with the task of perhaps going east. Some of them are heading over there. The next poll I would love to see is, who the heck is going to win this? Who the heck is going to come in and be triumphant here? Look at this damage being done to the Swiss. I mean, that loss of prosperity, that loss of some of those key trading promises, as you quite rightly point out, Josh, going to be absolutely devastating for the Dutch income.
I am backing the Swiss and the Russians here. I would, as much as I admire Prussia's earlier work in this MP, I would love to see a tables being turned fully on them.
It does seem like, I mean, to me, this is the war that more people should join. Georgia, Jerusalem, Andalusia, what are you guys doing? Deccan, Deccan has joined against Prussia and the Netherlands. Yeah. That's really interesting to see. Prussia, they're never going to win this fight.
Also, if we remember, the Dutch had most of their army was in Japan.
Yes, they do have quite a significant force. Let's see if they've moved it. No, look at this display of confidence from the Dutch. Move our army? No.
They could invade Russia.
They could invade Russia. Look at that. Prussia's unprovoked attack on the Swiss needs to be punished. Come on, Ireland, take on the Dutch. That, oh baby, I would love to see that, because the Dutch don't have the armies to deal with that right now. Irish armies marching into York. I want to see it happen. Look at this. The Prussians are managing to hold on long enough. They might actually be able to get their forces up there in time.
500,000 troops in one battle there now for the Russians.
This is enough. This is enough to put serious pace to the to this. But what are the current army sizes on each side? Excellent question. We're looking at, oh, I love it. Look how even it is.
Wow.
Look how even that is. That is absolutely incredible. We've got
an advantage for the Swiss side.
About 2.1 million on each side right now. That's incredible. Russia did just manage to pull out a victory there before the Prussian reinforcements arrived, but they're crushing in, as expected, a huge front line here. The Pope still sieging in here, but getting his own land sieged in return as the Milanese repay the favor. Blood.
Oh, they're gonna be angry about the previous war now.
They certainly are.
Crushing in. The Ruthenian stat just got stat wiped by the Prussians.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Who else haven't we really thought about so far in this war? I mean, Aquila. Look at this. Where are the Deccan armies?
Is he in on the Dutch side?
They're going for Europe. Look at that. I was thinking maybe they're going to go after the Dutch colonies. No, no, no. The Deccan armies are marching to Europe. The Russian front is going to be reinforced by Deccan. Heck yes. That is amazing.
No,
come on, Georgia.
It was in on the Russian side. Okay.
Georgia can't... No, look at this. Georgia, allied to Deccan. Georgia, blood debt to Prussia. What's going to happen?
Ooh.
Georgia becomes a linchpin. Georgia could put serious pace to Ruthenia. Georgia could really slow down those Deccan reinforcements. But will they do it? Will they dare to go against it? I mean, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
I like how we've got like fronts developing here. Like there's a Prussians holding down the eastern front on their own, and there's this joint front of Dutch and Norwegian and Hanoverian troops trying to hold the line there.
Here is the double offensive by the Prussians being launched right now in eastern Prussia. We've got some pretty massive Russian armies. Looks like they're prepared to just surrender this one in order to fight here with the terrain penalty beating against the Prussians in this one.
The one mistake I'm wondering whether the Russians are making here is they're putting all of their units straight into these battles, and they're sort of depriving themselves the freedom of maneuver to try and cause problems with their other reinforcing stacks.
Yep.
Because the problem is if you've got 500,000 troops, if you've got enough troops in there to be winning that battle, what you want to be doing is preventing the Prussian reinforcing stack from getting involved.
Absolutely. You know what it is? The Russians haven't had practice. The Russians haven't had to do any of these huge player wars that all the other players, or most of the other players anyway, not all of them, that's unfair, have been doing so regularly as this multiplayer has developed. The Russians have been fighting the AI. They haven't needed to do this kind of thing. Their numbers have carried the day so far. But what the Russians are doing is meaning that the fight over here in Europe is essentially just between the Swiss, the papacy, and the Dutch and the Hanoverians. There's 4 players duking it out for control of the richest area in the game right now. We can also see some huge fights.
Big battle there. Milan's suffering badly.
Milan, Milan, obviously, they didn't have a good option. Of course, they had to go with Prussia once they lost those fights, but they really didn't. They've not put themselves in a great position, certainly not a very defensive position. Being able to seize a couple of forts, well, actually one fort early against the Pope will help. It'll slow the bleeding, but Serbians are coming in here. Old debts to be repaid. Let's just take a look. Has anyone new joined the war yet? Not that I can see. Now, Kilwa, where have you put your men? Are you, the Kilwans are going against the Dutch trading empire. Let's go, Kilwa. I love it. The Dutch have established a global trading system, and it is all that people can do now who are not on the inside to stand up and say no more. No more will my goods.
They have to try and bring the income down. Have they lost any ground to Dutch on their income side yet?
They must have.
They were up at 1,300 ducats. They've lost 300 ducats of trading income a month now.
Oh, roughly. My goodness. The Dutch are
coming down
300 ducats, and it's only declining as more and more of these key provinces fall. Obviously, these places are geared. They've got as much trade income as they possibly can.
We're trading up loads of troops. Look at
what they can. Have the guys in... no, these guys are still here. They might think they need their navies in place. They can't risk bringing them over, but I don't know.
They've got 130,000 troops in Japan, powerless to act as their homeland is overrun by the Pope.
What I love to see is the Russians. They had such a massive army, but sent absolutely packing.
That can't be it. That can't be all they've got left, surely. 196k.
Prussia would like to come and give us some updates on their perspective on fighting this two-front war. Obviously, not often a good sign for Russia. I mean, this is looking very World War I-esque with the global empires.
Nepal's offered an alliance to Russia.
Ooh, interesting. Russia's not a primary participant though, so that doesn't really change too much.
Nepal in the war? No.
We'd love to have Prussia in with us at any time. Probably not for a very long chat, but we'd love to speak to them. Yeah, please. Experts predicting market crash. Tulip prices collapsing as Papal and Swiss forces invade the Netherlands. Look at that. Give me control for just one moment here. Look at that. Along with huge conflict in northern Italy. This is what I'm talking about, man. It's not like Europe v Asia. We've got fronts all over the shop. Prussia or Russia? Oh, Prussia. If you've got Prussia ready, that would be great. Please, stream team. So right now, Russia and Ruthenia need to coordinate, and they've got Deccan arriving. Yes, the Indians are finally here. They're finally here, and they're going to make all the difference. This is going to seriously change the width of the front that they can be simultaneously engaged on. Is just outrageous. Hello, Prussia.
Hello.
Talk to me about how you're going to defeat Prussia, Ruthenia, Deccan simultaneously.
Well, this was most definitely not part of the plan. But you know what they say. The rats come out of the woodwork. Clearly, everybody can see who is in the right, who has been honorable and has given time, and who has decided to backstab. And
how do you like your odds now? You've got the East arrayed against you. It looks like Nepal might be. It seems to be at least allied to Russia right now. Allied to Deccan, might be thinking about joining in again as well. Can you take them?
The righteous men of the world do not fear the actions of the unworthy, the cowardly, and the rats.
I mean, this is strong words. I do see all of your armies withdrawing from enemy territory and taking up defensive positions. It doesn't quite mesh perfectly with the tone of voice, but we'll see.
I have absolute and total confidence in the capacity of our generals, especially Nivor, who, if I realize correctly, is the one taking up the fight. If they think that the best way to cut through the Russian hordes is to take up defensive positions, I am certain that is indeed what we should do.
Faith in the teammate. I love to see it. Talk to me about, let's say you win this war. What's the punishment? Who is it particularly that has earned your ire by this war breaking out?
I do not say ire, for ire would require a certain amount of respect. I would say they have earned our most deep and profound disappointment.
Okay. And who specifically? Which countries are the most deserving of your disdain?
I do not believe Switzerland to be particularly at fault. Switzerland is just trying to recover what was once theirs and taking the best opportunity. The Russians, on the other hand, are deserving of the utmost contempt.
Okay, the Russians being the worst. Fair enough. I mean, previous signatories to the Economic Pact, fully members of your shared trade area.
As for the Pope, the Pope had already shown his true colors. I don't think he could really fall down lower than he already had.
Okay, fair enough. Well, thank you so much for speaking to us, Prussia. We will very much enjoy following the attack has resumed in Königsberg. We will see how that develops.
And remember, we are on a mission from God, and we shall fight.
I believe you. Let's go and get back to some of that fighting right now, and we will see how that pans out. The Prussians taking up some defensive positions in the woods. A little confused by that, honestly. Maybe just wanting to gauge the scale of the enemies coming in. Maybe just wanting to allow themselves a moment to send some men south and focus more down there. But 3 more nations have joined. Jerusalem. Oh, this changes things. To me, this solidifies the side Georgia should take. Andalusia and Jerusalem have declared for Prussia, for the Netherlands for the
Georgia has to go for the other side.
They don't have to, because Ruthenia, remember, was their older enemy. And it was Karaman, not Jerusalem, that the true Georgian enmity lay with. But joining against Ruthenia would put Georgia against their allies in Deccan. So, I mean, Georgia has to join on this side, in my opinion. Georgia has to throw its weight behind the alliance against Prussia. This is...
But then they have allies in India that they'll be against.
Nepal. Oh my God, Nepal!
Oh,
right. Deccan is away.
The strife within the Indian continent.
Oh my God! And they're not even going after Deccan. Is this a brotherly disagreement? Is this Nepal and Deccan have spoken, say, okay, we respectfully disagree. We're going to be going on different sides, but we're not going to siege each other's land? Because right now, Deccan is entirely undefended. That is, I mean, if that's the case, hats off to the Nepalese right here. That is some honorable play that I can only enjoy. Let's get our eyes back on here. There it goes. The first major fight here. Looks like the Russians have a significant advantage.
100,000 troops in there, but they can't defeat the Prussians quickly enough.
The Prussians don't have as many men coming in as they might like, though. I mean, these guys not moving confuses me a little. They are suffering a -2 penalty, the Russians here, so the Prussians are clearly happy for that fight to go on as long as they want it. But we'll see. No Indian Thunderdome, it looks like, for now. We will see. The treacherous Nepalese are going to strike Deccan. I mean, they haven't yet. Have they moved? Yeah.
Moving towards them.
Yeah, so much for that. It looks like they're at least making demands. The Prussians did manage to win that fight there, just. Nice, nice. Russian manpower, by the way, they've lost 400,000 so far.
Wow.
That is pretty incredible.
Parity now with the Prussians.
Yeah, and we've got Prussian men marching into the Papal States. I'm not sure. I like how a Prussian soldier is currently worth 4 Russian ones. It is pretty crazy.
The trouble is the Russians don't have the ability to kill the Prussian stacks quickly enough to be decisive. They're getting drawn out into very long battles, even against much smaller Prussian armies.
Look at this colonial war going on in Ireland. The Kilwins currently getting trashed by the Dutch, sorry, the Breton colonial nations cruising through Peru right now. The army sizes, how have things changed with these new additions? It does honestly sway things in favor of Prussia. That's an extra 400,000 men now advantage for the Prussian side. Casualties still looking fairly even. Big fighting going on in Iberia. Andalusia putting the pain to the Papal States. Ooh, probably not aware of the colossal Papal States army currently cruising through here. Maybe going to come in and put an end to that. But Jerusalem now showing up. Oh, Jerusalem's men. Oh, come on, Georgia, the fan favorite, the glorious Georgia. We need you to kill Jerusalem. Sorry?
You can't just...
There it is.
There it is.
But they're being called in by Prussia.
Yes.
They owe a debt to Prussia. Will they honor it? They did.
Wow. So then Ruthenia's now got to be a bit nervous.
And Serbia.
And Ruthenia, the nation that the very, very early part of the game, in the eyes of Georgia, betrayed them, and they went their separate ways.
Now they can both get their revenge and honor the debt they obviously really do owe to Prussia.
Yeah, this is the time where Georgia come good for the Prussians, and then their hour of need,
which leaves Rajputana as basically the only player nation not in the war. They are literally the only player not in the war. Ireland, yeah. Pick a side. The time has come to stand up and be counted. Rajputana, join. Which side do we want them to join, chat? Which side do we think Rajputana should join? I mean, it's very difficult to say.
The side that's got less strength.
I mean, that's definitely one temptation. Look at this: the Russians cutting deeper and deeper into Prussia, as Prussia has organized their armies into much smaller stacks.
The guys playing Rajputana, that's Gujarat. Gujarat, who very famously signed the declaration saying Georgia and Gujarat are friends, so they couldn't possibly end up on opposite sides now.
They anything could happen. Anything could happen. Switzerland has been driven back from the Netherlands, but let's get a look here before it changes too much. Another 100 ducats lost.
Ooh, yeah, down to 930 now.
Prussia. Could we get that poll now, please? Now that the lines have been drawn, I want to see Prussia as one option and Swiss as the other. Which bloc is going to win? I mean, the joining of Georgia on the Prussian side, I honestly think that might be the difference maker. It's going to distract the Ruthenians and the Prussians so much. It's going to be a huge difference. The Netherlands has apparently sent, look at this, the Netherlands has sent vast wealth to Georgia in order to help them pay for massive new forts in order to grind the treacherous Swiss and papal fortifications. Georgia, of course, well known as the very best defenders of forts in the game at the moment. They do really seem to have a serious edge in that. Look at this, the beauty of the massive Prussian military machine as it fights against the Russians here. The Russians reinforcing in, but not with nearly enough men to match the Prussian reinforcements. This is going to be a Prussian defeat as they get driven back yet further. Do vote in the chat, at the poll at the top of chat. Who will win? We are looking at the clash of the century. Gotterdammerung, the final battle, Armageddon, whatever you want to call it. It is happening right now. Why did Prussia just take like 3 stab hits? I'm not sure what's going on there, but we'll find out. Look at this. Prussia definitely going to win that fight handily with the -2 penalty. Russia cannot afford to continue to take penalties like that. Although Prussia has lost 300,000 manpower in barely any time. Ragnarok, of course. I mean, this is pretty incredible. They do definitely look like they're going to be driven back right there. Prussians also cutting in here, driving back from the piggy bank, Netherlands, where the Swiss have been once again sent packing from there. Meanwhile, in the south, the occupation of Andalusia is almost complete as the Swiss are fighting on 3 fronts right now. It's crazy. But Brittany, not really very present army-wise, barely has an army, actually. It looks like they probably lost them to the Swiss at some point earlier. The Russian bankruptcy looming.
The trouble is here for the Swiss faction is that the Russians haven't been able, even with their enormous numbers, to force Prussia to use all of their troops to fight them. They haven't tied down enough troops. There's 108k in Rome from the Prussians, and then there's more troops in the Low Countries as well.
Yeah.
So they're not able to dominate the other fronts that they needed to. They haven't been able to fully knock the Netherlands' income down. And if Ireland joined on the Swiss side, that could make a difference in terms of reducing the Dutch trade income.
Yeah, I mean, but the problem is with Dutch trade income, you could reduce their income to 0, and they could afford their expenses for the next 100 months. Sorry, 1,000 months.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, they could afford their expenses at current level, including 470 ducats a month, for 1,000 months. That's the end of the game. That's the end of the game.
And that's even like before they cut any of their diplomatic expenditure as well.
Yeah, definitely. We are looking at an 82% vote for Prussia. We get 5-1 odds right now in chat in favor of a Prussian victory. And I have to say the numbers are increasingly looking that way. We're up to almost 2 million infantry under arms on the Prussian side versus substantially less. Looking at probably, what is this? This is 180, probably 1.8 million. Sorry, 1.9 million maybe on the Swiss side. We're looking at 3 million men under arms on the Prussian side. It has become something of a stomp. Russia does have the manpower to keep throwing at this. Prussia approaching the end.
Russia's running out though.
That they have yet to tap into that beautiful, beautiful professionalism. They have a lot of manpower they could be dragging out of that. We will see. Ireland and Raj Britannia still currently staying out of things, but we will see if that remains. Norway, first time I've seen them on the front lines for quite a while, taking the brunt of this Russian attack.
Taking a battering from those Russians.
That's definitely a stack wipe right there. Wow.
Dead.
There they go. Is that their only army? No, they do have one more also present here, hanging out in Marienburg right now.
Not sure Norway has spec'd itself to be really good at the military.
They focused on the expansion, and it's gone very well. I mean, their impact on the long-term planet, culturally speaking, is going to be greater. But I don't know. We will see. Ireland, obviously not in here yet. I really want to see what they're going to do. It looks like the Pope is honestly approaching getting knocked out of this war. They've lost their camp. They've got a lot of war exhaustion ticking up, although of course that's not going to bother them much because any rebellions aren't gonna hurt them. They're going to hurt the invaders. But we will see. To take a brief look at the religious state of affairs, the Pope is now the only Catholic, along with Ireland. Just the two of them left now, my lord.
And Milan, right?
Spreading out. Excuse me? Oh, yes, of course. Sorry, Milan as well. And then basically, apart from that, it's Protestant or Orthodox all the way, man. And Brittany has converted finally to Protestantism. Another huge fight breaking out here. Oh, that's interesting. I don't think Prussia necessarily has the reinforcements ready for this. That's a, and you know, the discipline advantage for Prussia is a lot less than one might normally expect to be seeing at a time like this. We've got Russia with 139% discipline and a lot more cannons, but of course, as obviously you can only deploy your combat width worth of cannons at once, and the cannons essentially take no casualties, so you don't really need to be having that many more cannons than the actual number of troops in the army. This is going to be a pretty important battle. They're fighting in the woods. Russia is taking that terrain penalty.
Well, reinforcements there just in time to stop the Prussian cannons ended up on the front row there.
Oh, really? It was that close?
It looked like it to me.
Right. I mean, they've still got quite a few left. We've got 100,000 infantry in reserves now for the Prussians, but it's dropping. I mean, it's dropping. They've got sending them their reinforcements bit by bit. See, you can see now, Russia has adapted to this new style of warfare. It's not about putting everyone in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Prussia has indeed been slacking for manpower. Good spot, chat. They are down 5%, which gives them 200,000 manpower. Goodness gracious. That's very hard to keep up with. I mean, Russia can start doing the same, but Russia also still has a bank, which means that Russia's army can stay at tip-top shape. Not as good as Russia's, but tip-top shape for long.
So wait, Prussia gains 200,000 per click of the slackened recruiting standards.
20 times.
Each click, 20 times. So that's 4 million manpower.
It certainly is. I mean, that is quite something. I mean, look at this fight. Thousands dying every day. Pretty even, honestly. I mean, we've got a morale advantage, but the tactics advantage that Prussia was enjoying earlier has gone away. We will see. Ireland, let's go Ireland. Yeah, let's go Ireland. Ireland has joined, and they have joined, of course, against Prussia.
Come on.
Troops smash their way through northern Britain. Let's go Ireland. Crush through, take London, seize the remaining parts of their trade empire. Yes, they drove them out here, but Ireland is back. They have long been denied their glorious revenge, but now
they can finally take the regions that were promised to them in the original partition plan, proposed right at the start of the game, that never came to fruition.
One team remains in the cold. One team. They could be the deciding factor. They've got some substantial armies. Where have they put their armies? They appear to be putting them on the border with Delhi, which would be a bit of an anticlimax, I must admit. But we now have serious fights. Deccan appearing to have returned their troops to home, or perhaps recruited fresh ones specially for this. Nepal not deploying all their forces into this fight. Oh, no, there they go.
This makes it, Ireland's entry also makes this a truly world war. There are Irish and Norwegian troops in the New World that will now be engaging.
Certainly true. Yeah. Ireland is going to be obviously, well, almost certainly losing a lot of territory up here. Although, worth noting, a ton of the Prussian side troops are very much occupied way down here in Southern America, which means we'll be able to roam free for a while. Won't have a huge impact on the main state of the war, but obviously very interesting to know. And look at that! Look at that! Prussia and the Netherlands put on the back foot once again by Switzerland as they crush into the heartland, having sent some men over to, look at this, the Swiss, not content to be faced by the island, moving men over to England. Come on, Ireland, we believe in you.
Ireland's just got to keep those troops tied down in the British Isles. Give Switzerland the time to siege down.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. I mean, if Switzerland now massively outnumber their opponents in the home territories of the Netherlands, which is obviously going to get worse and worse for the Netherlands. Ireland, I mean, it is not an F for Ireland. We do not F for bold sacrifices. The Irish victory is in drawing the men away from this front. It is a unparalleled success. They have allowed this colossal damage to be wrought on the Dutch here. I mean, look at this, Dutch manpower almost out. The Prussians once again burned through that 200,000 that they got in there. There it is, the Rajputania. Which side are they joined, chat? I'm going to make you wait for 10 seconds. Which side has the Rajputania joined? Swiss or Prussian? Swiss or Prussian? I want to see some guesses. I want to see some guesses. I'm going to bet Rajputania has joined the Prussian
Big
side.
consensus for Prussia.
Prussia, Swiss, Prussia, Swiss, Prussia, obviously. Georgia, I like that. They have joined on the Prussian side. That makes Deccan's...
Oh, Deccan's in a horrible position now.
Look seriously.
Oh dear.
Player war in India is in full swing as Deccan fights on the banks of the... I should really know this. We have the Rajputania going to be charging in, presumably from another angle, or maybe coming around to reinforce. We will see. Rajputania...
The Swiss purge of Prussian heresy now encompasses every nation on Earth, effectively.
I mean, looking at the great powers list, it's everyone but Ming. This is a truly world war that we have going on here. And right now,
every continent.
It seems that Nepal might be left to its fate with only another 50,000 to reinforce. That's not going to be enough to turn the tide in their favor. Coming back over here to the Dutch front. I don't think the Prussians have deployed enough men to sincerely hold them back. Let's see, where are those Ruthenians at? They, okay, the Ruthenians are also deploying.
Yeah, they're trying to cover off the advancing Georgians. The thing is, the war of attrition now is wearing down the Prussian alliance, you feel.
It really does seem
really good early victories, even though they have a substantial advantage.
It's worth noting that a large portion of their numerical advantage, not tons and tons of it, but a pretty large portion, is tied up in colonial troops that realistically will never see European soil. They're not going to be involved in the key fights at the key location.
They're suffering as well just from geography at the moment. Now the islands are in, and you've got Rajputana in, freeing up Georgia fully. So they're surrounded almost, the Prussian alliance.
Stack wipe incoming. I'm sorry, Prussia. That's gotta hurt. No manpower and an army actually wiping is all the work.
That's entirely infantry. That was a reinforcing army made up entirely of infantry.
Yeah,
just getting stack wiped.
And here it is. This could be called the battle for Italy, and it's only going one way. It looks like the Pope is going to be able to begin a resurgence against some of these enemies, taking that 3-shot penalty. Wow, they're really going to struggle to take that tile. I mean, that's crazy. A representative of Rajputania, the final member to join the glorious final battle, the Swiss purge of Prussian heresy, would like to join us on stream. They would be most welcome. You can pop them in here just as soon as they're ready. That would be great. Thank you very much. Rajputania, honestly, I want to know their rationale for who they joined, and I imagine it's going to be one word long, and that word is going to be Georgia, but I want to hear a longer version. We will see. Swiss cheese increasingly unpopular in low countries. Prussian victories bolster confidence in Dutch markets. New study shows Irish coffee salinity levels to be unhealthy. There has been a serious drive back there. What is their income down to here?
Wait, there we go. The video's coming up.
Hello, Rajputania. How are you doing?
Hello, doing just fine. We finally ended our isolation.
Finally, after a player war in India, a 20-player war, a 20-nation war going on here. It's an epic time.
We have disagreed not to take part in the fighting in India. We are instead focusing on the Ruthenian front. Okay. Deccan and Nepal are duking it out down there in Bengal area.
Mm-hmm. But you feel like that brothers' war is not for you right now?
No, it is not.
Fair.
And we'd much rather get our revenge on Ruthenia from our time as Crimea.
Of course.
Oh, yes.
Of course. I hadn't even thought.
Memories.
Excellent. I love it.
And of course, Georgia and us are such good friends, we couldn't break that bond.
Of course. I mean, the Georgian friendship, it lasts long. You reached across some of the most treacherous terrain in the map just to be able to be next to each other.
Yes, we did.
It's a cute story. How could you break that up? I'm seeing a huge offensive now into Ruthenia. That's going to pull a lot of troops off the Russian front on the Russian side. We'll see whether they can still hold up without that aid. You're going to be definitely going to be a difference maker in terms of what is currently the hottest front of the war between Prussia and Russia.
Yes, I hope so.
I mean, I can only wish you the best. Georgia, of course, has mostly shown their power in the on the defense, but we'll see if they can join you on the offense in there. How do you rate your side's odds right now? Obviously, you have a numerical advantage, but you're
yes, we have a numerical advantage. We do have quite a bit of a morale. That's something we've been mainly focusing on, mainly with the Seek, the benefits from Seek, the added morale. But I guess we'll take a look, considering Ruthenia has decided to go on the offensive.
It looks like Kiva is going to be the first battle of this war, going in there pretty even. You do have a slight tactics disadvantage, but we'll see if that bears out. It's going to be very close, but your reinforcements are closer at hand, and indeed now retreated before even forced to be do so. We'll see how that continues. Obviously, there's some treacherous terrain. There's some steps, difficult to be sieging in the steps from a relief point of view. So we'll see as that continues to emerge. But talk to me about your whole side. How do you feel as part of the Prussian alliance? What are your odds for this final glorious conflict?
I think we are in a very good position to win. We're attacking them all from all fronts. Obviously, we've got the Prussian Space Marines. At least I assume they're as good as the Space Marines. And of course, we've got us. So I think that should be all we need.
All right, thank you. It's always lovely to hear from you. Have a fantastic war. Enjoy your push into Ruthenia. Vengeance is, of course, the very sweetest of dishes, and I hope you enjoy it.
It is
cold,
and we will enjoy it very much. Thank you.
Have a good one. Good luck. Swiss, they're mad. How are they fighting two fronts?